Let's go! Yeah boy, welcome everyone then to game number 1 of this Play 03 series, FedEx versus Nili. This is the third matchup for Nili in the league already. After this, we're gonna have 2 more. One against Kashfa and one against Ripard, if I'm remembering correctly anyway. He's already had his shot against Dark, he's already had his shot against FedEx. He's been getting pretty decent results so far. So we're gonna see if he can pull it off over here. This is not FedEx though. Thank you for pointing this out. Sorry about that. There we go. MbL is gonna be playing the blue color. Nili is gonna be playing the red color. Let's take a look at the map generation. So, starting with the blue player up in the north. Yeah. Sorry about that. So, taking a look at the resource generation up in the north, we're gonna see that the main goal is pretty safe for MbL. It's kind of on the back of the TC or towards the south over here. It's kind of far away from the walls as well. We're gonna see the same thing for the stone on the left hand side of the TC, and then for golds on the right hand side, and the stone on the left hand side outside the walls is gonna be kind of exposed. Notice however that he does have the option to go for gold both on the right hand side and on the left hand side, so it's not gonna be deprived from either resource if Nili decides to go for pressure on either side, most likely the right hand side. Left hand side, we have even an additional stone over here, so it's not too bad, and I think MbL's map generation over here is actually pretty decent. We take a look at Nili's on the other hand. What do we get for the Hippo? Well, it's got the main goal towards the southeast. Yesterday it was the case that FedEx was the one kind of exposed, like the goal was kind of exposed close to the walls. This time around it's gonna be Nili's case in MbL. I don't think it's gonna try to do too much with this because of this little forest over here. Nili goes for as much of a few tiles of walls over here. That's already gonna prevent MbL from coming through and trying to drop a castle, put any pressure or whatever. So it's not quite as good as yesterday, but it's fine for Nili. Left hand side we have some stone. This one's gonna be quite safe. And it's also the same situation. Nili is going to have options for gold both on the left and on the right hand side. Although this one though is too far away and it's contested between both players, this one he should be able to secure. And this one shouldn't be too hard to secure either. He just needs to connect the walls from here to here, and that's gonna put him in a nice position to keep on collecting some resources. Additional stone on the left hand side, that's gonna be about it. As for relic though, yeah, the relic distribution is... yeah, it's not really favoring anyone, I think. Right? We have one on the right hand side over here. That's going to be kind of neutral in between both bases. We have one favor in MbL. We have 2 favor in Nili here and here. And then there is another one which I guess we can call a neutral relic over here on the left hand side as well, very far away. Yeah, it's fine. It's a pretty standard generation here. One options outside for MbL. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good catch, actually. I didn't go through that, but that is correct. MbL could very easily go for something like this, and maybe just a few tiles from here to here, and then he's good to go to collect this, all these good resources, right? Stone, plenty of gold. Yeah, it's good. I think both players are kind of comparable in that sense. Predictions. We didn't have any predictions on. Do we have any mods here to turn the predictions on? What tool are you using for these visualizations? It's called PP Ink, and it's an open source piece of software. It's really good. PLH already on the way for Nili. He's going up. He's going up early though. Wait a month. It's going up because I don't think he's going up because he got housed. No, that's not the case. Otherwise, he would have gone for the house already. Oh man, this is bad. Come on, Nili. He's gotta realize about this. He's just scouting. It's coming out of the walls only now. MbL, yeah, pretty similar over here. No. It seems like it's gonna be the arena eco where the melee go up a little. There we go. He's going for the house now. Where the melee go up a little bit earlier, so that he goes for double pickaxe and horse collar instantly and tries to get ahead in eco. I don't know though. We have talked about this before, and it's not quite as favored the strategy as it used to be. Usually even clowns are gonna prefer more often than not. At the very least that was the case last time that I checked. to just go up straight fast castle, as opposed to do this fast feudal, fast-ish castle instead. Anyway, we're gonna see if Nili can make it work. For now, he's already gotten to the next stage, and he's gonna start catching up in worker count now that MbL is on his way up as well. And by the time Nili gets to the castle age, he should enjoy a 5 villager lead or so. And MbL, well, if MbL does not remain competitive in the app time, is gonna struggle, as Nili is gonna have the option to go for extra TCs and start pulling ahead in worker count. To scare the living crap out of MbL. I don't know if MbL is the type of player to get scared easily by something like this. I think he knows. Where's the scout for the bull player? So Nili has already gone around the map. MbL. Wait, where's the scout? What is he doing? You know what? You might actually be correct. Is this MbL just trying to keep on? But why would he do that inside the walls? It's probably because out of fear of Nili's own scout. It does put Nili in a much better position to fight against MbL's scout, though. I will give you that. Yeah. MbL cannot continue scouting around safely while Nili's scout is in the next stage. That is a really strong thing for Nili, and well, he's not really taking advantage of it. He's just pushing the air. But if he was technically out and about and he run into MbL's scout, he would be in a much better spot. Yeah, there we go. Village is gonna be here and MbL feels a little bit safer. Blacksmith. What else for? Fortunately, doesn't really have the resources to go for much of anything else. And MbL's already got into the village though. Yeah, Nili's got a little bit of time. Remember, by the time MbL has researched 40% of the castle age, if Nili clicks up, they're still gonna go up at the same time. Pretty standard build for MbL over here so far. He's only now getting some scouting done. He's found 1 relic so far. Nili, on the other hand, has found 1 relic so far himself as well. Yeah, there we go. I think Nili's going up faster than MbL, actually. 40% is the threshold here. That is a good point, yes. But New Civilization over here is also going to be good to play for the late game. But yeah, MbL did keep his scout around for a little bit. There we go. Nili's going up before the 40% mark from MbL, so he will be up a little bit earlier. What is the plan then? Everything seems to point out a triple TC full boom for Nili here. Yeah, we just play for economy. Yeah, on paper, Nili should be in a good spot over there, right? With the extra workers already. A little bit of idle TC time though. For Nili, kind of denies one of the extra villagers he should have against MbL. So it's gonna be more of a 4 villager lead as opposed to 5. And the scouts have finally run into each other. I don't know about this. While technically the Malay can be a strong late game civilization, I don't know if you want to play standard against MbL though, and MbL is actually going to be the first one to start putting some pressure. It's got the villager here already, so we expect to see a siege workshop. It's got some archers already on the way, and he's going to try to pressure Nili while Nili's going for the second TC. He's going to go for the third TC right away because of the pressure, so he goes for the siege workshop. And MbL is instead going to be the one to go for 2 TCs right away. It's not too bad. It's not too bad for MbL, that is. And if Nili doesn't manage to repel this push while going for the third TC and keeping up with worker count, then MbL is going to close the gap here. And from that point onwards, then your lead as the Malay kind of washes away. Especially as the Britons are also like a very deadly late game civilization themselves. Yeah. Now Nili has to Mango Micro War against MbL. Yeah. That's Nili's favorite position ever, right? /S, of course. 30C on the way for Nili. Careful. Really good shot from MbL. Already chunking about half HP off that Mangonel. Yeah, and he hasn't taken any damage whatsoever. Second Mangonel's already on the way for both of these guys. Yeah, nobody's starting to collect any stone yet, so we won't be able to rely on a castle here to provide defenses for Nili. It's just gonna have to be good micro. And MbL's also the only player who's got actual military over here besides the Mangonel. There we are. There's a good shot from MbL once again, and that's gonna be another good one with a Mangonel going down for Nili. That's the first kill from MbL. Oh, and Nili tried to go after the Mangonel because it was so low HP. And that just getting mangled in the face. And now we have two Mangonels still, technically, for MbL. He's trying to keep the low HP one safe, and that's another Mangonel going down from Nili, and MbL's. Yeah, micro here has been nothing short of amazing. There is a surprise element over here for Nili though. If he pops the Mangonel out and he's able to take both these down, especially as they are very close over there, Nili's going to pop them out. On the wrong side of the siege workshop, unfortunately. So MbL's coming in. He's already brought the villager over. And he's reset the HP of the only weak Mangonel he had. So now, so long as he plays his cards right, he should be in a good spot. Yeah, and he's being very cautious here. So what I do like about Nili though is that because he closes the gap here, MbL cannot bring any extra units in, at the very least not without breaking through. So technically, yeah, Nili should benefit from the defender's advantage over here, and he's going to end up cleaning this up, I think. He does. But it did not come for free, of course. He already ended up taking a few losses himself. Overall KD 1-1, with MbL being the only player who's taken a eco unit so far. And of course MbL's gonna micro these crossbows to the to eternity. Yeah, this gotta be so annoying. That house is beautiful as well. It's so good, makes the lumber camp kind of bad. Yeah, it's not going to change too much though. Nili can just continue collecting from here. And he already has a TC regardless, but just try to do as much damage as he can, right? Alright, so Nili stabilized. He's been able to hold on to his villager lead. He's got 6 extra workers. So far, nice. So far, resources destroyed. Comparable for both players. MbL ended up just doing about 35 resources more damage to Nili. And resources collected is already starting to show a nice little lead over here for the Hippo. Very close to 1,000 extra resources. Some of that was kind of lost to the Mangonels, but I mean, we can just brush that off. Just ignore that, alright? We're just going to brush it under the rug. More Mangonels coming out from MbL. Yeah, so long as Nili is able to defend over here, it's gonna be fine. Both players have been collecting stone now. Nili is very, very close to having enough to go for the castle. He should be trying to get the castle in between both these goals, or at the very least in front of this one. So probably someplace around here, I would imagine, would be good. Yeah, probably around here so that he can defend this gold and potentially the gold that's underneath the minimap too. He needs control though, of course. He needs to clean this up. If he tries to go for a castle right now and MbL's there with the Mangonels, it could be a team castle. He's got vision at the very least. There we are. He's trying to at the very least... Oh no, Nili! What did you just do? Oh, what is that? Come on. I just really need to bookmark this one. We're gonna go back over there after the game is over and replay that in slow motion. Oh god. That was something I haven't seen in a while, actually. It's not gonna be too happy about it, but hey, he's got content, right? He's generating his own content. So I guess it's probably a win-win situation. If he loses but gets the content out, that's good anyway. Nice KD, yeah, right. 1-1 for both players. He's done a good job though, at the very least, keeping MbL's Mangonels at bay. And take a look at the economy. Nili was playing for this. This was a strat from the get-go. Just a strong economy, kind of mirroring what we saw from FedEx yesterday. Now favoring Nili instead. Yeah, and MbL cannot do much of anything now that the castle's coming up, right? We have a wall of houses here as well, preventing the Mangonels from pushing on the left-hand side up in the north. The castles prevented them from pushing down the south. And all Nili needs is probably a few walls over here so that he can secure this. If he can go also for a TC, probably around... I don't know if... Probably between the wood and the goal would be a good position. Either here or here. Probably here is even better so that he can prevent, you know, MbL from coming... Oops. From coming here freely. Good unit control for MbL. For a change. Good shot. And Imperial should be on the way very shortly for Nili. MbL is not quite as close. Military numbers favoring the bull player, yes. But he does not really have too much pressure going on, so Nili is not really feeling the difference in military so far. Doubt smiling upon the sacrifice on Nili. That could very well be the case. He's not playing Aztecs here, but that doesn't mean you can't offer a blood sacrifice to the gods. Seems to be favored by it so far. Oh, notice Nili's actually trying to get the walls up right next to MbL's base. Interesting, he did get spotted though. Does he have any extra? I don't think he's got any extra villagers there. He doesn't. Unless he pulls off some very interesting quick walls over here, it's not gonna... Oh, he's actually fighting. Well, you know a villager with loom is gonna take down a vanilla spearman. Yeah, now the crosses take care of it. Archer ranges for Nili. He's gonna get to the Imperial Age now. That's 3 mountains from MbL, but he's still very much in the Castle Age. Nili has kind of fallen behind in worker count though. His idle TC counter over here has gone up one more time today. But it's not too bad if he can get... He's getting Balkinar right now. If he can get Bracer, if he can get Arbalister, there isn't really much that MbL can do with Castle Age crosses against this. And the Mountains, of course, once we get Bracer, even if we don't have Arbalisters, the Mountains are not gonna be that good anymore. Nili's kind of struggling though. MbL's got a small 9 crossman army just completely disorganized in Nili's base. You just gotta hand it over to MbL though. The value he's getting out of these units is like, it's not a very numerous army, but yeah, it's just making Nili's economy a little bit of a disaster here. Worker efficiency in the last minute, you can see for Nili has been impacted greatly. And worker efficiency total has been significantly higher for MbL as well. You can see that Nili is kind of falling behind the resources collected too because of it. Bracer matches Britons for range, yes, but it's gonna be more damage for the melee. And the Mountains shouldn't be quite as strong against Bracer crosses even, but Nili is not really going for it. It's got skirmishers instead. Interesting. Game seems to be kind of slipping away of Nili's hands though. It was looking much better just before he clicked up to the Imperial Age. And now the idle TC count, the worker count, which is looking better for MbL as well. Yeah, it's not showing quite as good a picture for Nili anymore. Dunker Rabbits with Imperial Armor, Slay Crossman. They should, but he doesn't really have the numbers right now. He's working towards that. He's got to be really careful with the Mountains as well, because while these are pretty strong, pretty deadly. Against units, they are still very frail. Yeah, notice MbL's Microman is just amazing. He's just gotten down. The only man left over here from Nili and all the Cranby warriors with mango shots and the crossbows. This is really good unit control, and this is what I'm talking about. The units, they can be deadly, but they are also so weak if you cannot reach the Mangonels in the first place. What good are they? The crossbows even. MbL has done a really, really good job. Hit handbrake as well. Hi. It's Nili. He will arrive at Scarum BBC whenever he can. I don't think he's got chemistry. He doesn't have chemistry yet, so he couldn't go for the bombard cannons, but yeah, what he's gone for so far hasn't really paid off yet. You can see KDE is not looking quite as even anymore. MbL approaching a 2-to-1 KD ratio. He's been able to get so much damage out of these Mangonels. Alone, 17 total kills so far. Like, these guys have already paid for themselves. Come on. Who are we trying to kid? These Mangonels have long ago paid for themselves. And of course, skirmishers won't really be taking care of this anytime soon. I do agree with that. The head start that Nili got by getting to the Imperial Age significantly earlier has been kind of mitigated by MbL's fantastic unit control so far in the game. And he continues roaming around. MbL's going now for Yeoman. He's got chemistry, just finished researching. These guys are onagers now. And this is a lot deadlier, a lot harder to deal with. Now let's take a look to see if Nili's unit control is gonna be on point. Doesn't seem like it's gonna be the case. The onagers just make it so much harder as well. The blast radius is higher. Yeah, and it's just not doing much of anything, is it? On the right hand side, the wall's never connected for Nili. And he's just losing units left, right, and center here. I'm wondering though if maybe MbL would consider cutting through over here. He doesn't really have any army though. I guess it doesn't really make sense. But it's unbelievable. It's like the 3 Mangonel challenge for Nili. Yeah. With 3 Mangonels, a few crossbows, and a dream, MbL's gonna take this game. And Nili, well, Nili struggled. Very much so. Yeah, this was the neutral map. So I guess if we're gonna see Nili's chances of getting a game increase, that's gonna have to be in game number 2 if it picks his home map, right? Migration, I think. So let's go through the achievements. I don't think we have too much to take a look at over here. Military. Much better KD for MbL. Better than 5-2. For the economy, we have a stronger economy for MbL as well. By about 8,000 extra resources, or 7,500 extra resources rather. Well, for society, he does have a higher villager max count, but he ended up losing a single villager throughout the game, while Nili lost so much more, about 28 villagers himself. So well played. MbL look pretty comfortable in game number 1. We'll see if that's the case for the rest of the series, but Nili certainly will feel a little bit of pressure over here. Remember, if Nili is able to get 1 game in the series, that puts him in a very good spot. If he loses this to a clean sweep, then it's not as good, obviously, but it's not the end of the world because he already got 1 series at the very least, right? Felix, on the other hand, I think yesterday, like it was his 3rd set of the tournament, and he's not done too well. We're gonna have to wait to see how Kashva and Ripard do, and we're gonna take a look at the standings after the series is over. But oh, hold on, let's go back. I forgot about this. Where's the marker? Right here. Oh boy. Yeah, we have to take a look at this once again. Oh god. Just keeps on getting worse. Let me take a look at this. 0.5x. Yeah, there you are. Oh god, and it was 2 shots even. And MbL was probably really happy about this. Now we can go back. I'm doing fine, thank you. Tent break, I'm just working. Yeah, I'm taking care of my stuff, so it's all good. I've gotten back to music, by the way. Gonna start playing back next month, I think. All right, let's see if there's a lobby there. Yeah, the game's already on, so let's go for it right away, shall we? MbL is the clear favorite for this group, so no shame in losing today, but taking 1 win would be nice for survival or even playoffs. Yeah, completely agreed. Completely agreed, and that's the goal, right? That's what Nili said yesterday. He was feeling comfortable in his ability to take at the very least the 1 game. Let's go! And we are on game number 2. MbL down the south playing with Vikings. Nili up in the north playing with Italians. Awesome. Thank you, Balcanaro. Welcome, welcome. Hi to you as well. Yeah, we cannot really take a look at like the map generation over here too much, right? If you lose water, you're gonna be screwed. Like, regardless of where the gold is, unless like you have all 3 resources on the very back of your TC and they're kind of safe from water units, it's still not going to be safe against landings. So it doesn't really matter too much. We can take a look at the center perhaps a little bit, but then we're going to talk about the civilizations, which feels a lot more relevant here. So what do we have for the center? Well, on MbL side, MbL being in the south of the map, we have golds available, right? Well, if we take a look at Nili's side, he's got stones available over here, but he also does have 1 gold over here. So it seems like it's a little bit better for Nili, simply because he does have a few extra options. This one is also facing Nili's side. I guess this is facing MbL side over here as well, which means that there are a few options for him to potentially land. He's got the option to go for like a TC over here. He can potentially go for like a TC probably around here. We could see something similar for Nili as well, right? So maybe a TC around here would be possible for Nili. Then this is also an option for him. There's the option for him to also go for a TC around this area close to the stone. Yeah, but there are some hills kind of preventing both players from getting access to some of the resources. Overall, I think it's pretty close. Yeah, I don't think it matters too much. Predictions? Can we get predictions going for the guys for game number 2? I don't know if we have any mods around. That'd be great. Sorry about the sound, by the way. There we go. The mods not used this time. I guess I could try to get the predictions going myself, but just give me a moment. Docs already up for both these guys. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait a little bit more. 23 workers or so before they're able to go up. Hold on. I'm taking care of this. So we're gonna enable predictions for who wins game number 2. And we have MbL as option 1, Nili as option 2. You got it. I don't know for how long it runs though. I think it might be a few minutes. Anyway, Italians and Vikings. What is so good about these civilizations that the guys have gone for this now? Italians first. They're gonna have a discount to go up to the next stage. So it's gonna be easier for them to potentially go up to the castle age. If they go up with the standard build, they're gonna have surplus economy to go for extra units or potentially stronger production if they go for extra docks. they have the option, of course, to use those resources instead and try to divert those towards landing and going for a transport ship, for instance, and some villagers forward, right? Besides that, we're gonna get for Italians also the dock technologies bonus as well, which is good. On top of that, we get the Condottieri in the Imperialish, which can be a fantastic unit for center control especially. If you end up going for a few barracks over there, you don't need to spend any resources getting upgrades for those, right? I mean, you can go for all the blacksmith upgrades as usual, but they are, you could say, an Imperial Age unit that's immediately available. Unlike the Militia Line units, where you have to go through Minotaurs and Lone Swords and whatever before you get to the strong Imperial Age versions. That's just going to give you instant control. For Vikings, on the other hand, well, Vikings, they have a discount on the docks over here. They have a pretty strong economy because of free willpower and free handcart, but that's something that we're going to see only impact MbL once he gets to the fuel age at the very least, of course. But I guess it kind of mitigates that. I don't think I have seen this enough to really tell you what's better. Yeah, because the Italians are going to have the discount, right? But Vikings, like in the long run, of course, having free willpower and free handcart is going to allow Vikings to get more resources. But it's going to take a little bit of time to kick in, while the Italians, they get the discount instantly. Nili again with big idle TC time. Yeah, last time around it was about 1 villager worth of idle TC time. We're going to have the same for game number 2. Not ideal, of course. The longer the game goes, it seems like it's been a big struggle for Nili to keep the TCs running, and then the higher this has gone, like exponentially almost. Regardless though, Fuel Age is here ready for both these guys, and Nili should be able to go up to the Castle Age very soon, is going for the buildings. MbL on the other hand, MbL is going for galleys right away. This is not the worst for Nili, because this is exactly what we saw against Dark, if I am not mistaken. What he did was just try to rush the Castle Age and try to survive, right? Once you get the War Galley upgrade, your units are so much stronger. Like fire ships, gonna be so much stronger than fire galleys. Let's not even mention like actual war galleys and demolition ships. The distant part of the middle island is clearly afoot. Oh yeah. Mirrored Italy. Fair call, yeah. So this would actually be Ilati. Here comes MbL. And Lee has already started going for his own units. Gotta be careful. And MbL's not really microing too much. Now he realizes this is good. Lee was able to shove a little bit of HP off that galley. And MbL's gotta be more cautious. Now, he doesn't really want to chase this away forever, though. Yeah, he needs to go back. He needs to go back. The longer he chases, of course, the higher chances MbL is going to bring reinforcements. He just wants to keep the units at bay. He doesn't want to sacrifice his own stuff. So extra war galley. More war galleys on the way. Nili's on 2 docks. MbL's having a 3rd one, I think. Yeah, and he's already gone for the transport ship, so we'll see MbL start scouting around the center island. He's gonna be the first player to transport some villagers, and Nili, he's going for some units himself as well. Just the 2 villagers. He does have the resources though. Are we gonna see a TC come up instantly? Well, he needs to get some scouting done first so that he can spot a good location for the TC. Otherwise, he's probably gonna need some military buildings if he wants to secure it. He's roaming around. Let's realize about the skull, the stone. Take a look at MbL, and MbL, yeah, doesn't really have vision of any resources. If he spots this gold, then that should put MbL in a good spot, right? He can go for the TC right here. Is it gonna do it? Oh, Nili's here though with a fire ship already taking one of the fishing ships down, and check out, look at that. They get taken down so quickly. This is really good. That's gonna be more kills coming up for Nili, the only player to have taken eco units down so far. Not gonna be the end of it by the looks of things. But he does need to remain cautious though. As we have longboats coming out already for MbL. Once he masses enough of those, fire ships are not going to be sufficient anymore. So now Nili's got to consider to go for War Galaxies himself, perhaps? He's already invested into fire ships quite heavily. But yeah, of course, it's not really going to work unless he's able to prevent MbL from getting to good numbers. So the villagers, though, on the other hand, he's got... It seems to be like he's got vision of this if he's going for the monastery. Yeah, so he's going to try and get the villagers. Ideally, he wants to go for his own DC. Right now, he doesn't really have the resources, but very soon he will. And if we take a look at the scouting information, by this point, I imagine... Yeah, so he already has a decent spot to TC around here, right? So he should go for it. And MbL, notice, he's keeping track of the villagers, so Nili won't be able to remain undetected over here. And MbL, he doesn't know about the monastery yet, though, so this is something that could potentially favor Nili. Right hand side, though, this might be really good for the red players trying to close these longboats. He's trying to push these guys towards the dead end, and this could be really, really good. But MbL's macro still gonna be a strength of his, and Nili's not really pushing all the units to where they need to be, so these fire ships will go down in the end. And they really needed to commit to pushing all of these units down towards the end of the lake here. Ah, man, this is not great. This is not great. MbL is getting to decent longboat numbers. I guess we can say at the very least Nili has already gotten a hold of the center. At the very least, he's got some presence of the center. If it weren't the case, then the game would be pretty much over, but now it's not quite as much about the water as it is about getting control of the center. Notice that MbL, he sold the stone as well. So he can't go for any extra TCs, and Nili can potentially go for a third TC, but he can also potentially switch some villagers over to stone and try to go for castles. Yeah, that is true though. MbL was not fishing over there for quite a while. Resources collected, still better for MbL though. Yeah, you gotta attribute some of that to the free wheelbarrow and handcart technologies already. Nili hasn't gone for either yet. Some of that, not all of it, of course. And now it's Mango Fest. Nili's worst nightmare repeated. He is collecting some relics though. Kind of feels to me sometimes when I see something like this that just Nili's getting the grunt of the work done, right? And then MbL just destroys the monastery and goes, and thank you for collecting the relics for me, and just grabs them. Same situation, too many longboats. Water's pretty much lost for Nili at this point. But he is collecting a lot of stone though. Yeah, at the very least, this should allow him to secure his own. Either the starting island or try to get some control of the center, but that's a lot of villagers potentially going down, and he's not realizing about this. That's 3 already going down, 4 out of 7. Maybe like 6 out of 7? Yeah, 7 out of 7. And it doesn't seem like Nili's realizing about... What is it, APM? Do we have APM over here? Yeah, we do have APM. It seems like Nili is around. He was just not paying attention. It's probably just this, taking most of the attention span for Nili. Trying to make sure that he doesn't really get destroyed by Mangonels. He ends up losing so many villagers though. Yeah, and it's still going to result in a 1-2-1 trade for the Mangonels anyway. And notice how respectful Nili is of this. How he goes back and forth. Just anticipating, of course, MbL to have a Mangonel coming out of the siege workshop at any point. Oh, redemption, that is good. That is a good catch. He forces the deletion, and that's great. So now Nili is the only player with the siege workshop left at the center. And this is exactly what might allow him to come back into the game. If he can take this TC down, where do those villagers find shelter? One tower coming up. How many villages do we have over here? If Nili gets this his way, good shot. That's gonna be 16 villagers up for, yeah, for reaping. If he ends up getting all those villagers, yeah, he is kind of catching up to MbL in worker count. He's got to be careful though, and MbL's reaction over here has been nothing but fantastic. This is gonna become an issue very soon. I don't know if these guys already have the range to target the lumberjacks. I think they do. I think they do. Yeah. This is supposed to go down, of course. 3, 4. All of them. And I knew this gonna try to make this work. We have guard tower now for MbL. Good reaction, conversions coming up, and notice that was a good mango shot. Now he's gonna repair this and he's going to do it. And Nili's getting a lot of damage done over here, but he's gotta be careful. He needs to keep on repairing the Mangonels. The conversions, the shots were good. But still, MbL is getting ahead, and the LTC time for Nili is not great. Also, the fishing ships he ended up losing, of course, puts him in kind of a rough spot. I wonder here if it would have been worth it for Nili to try and buy some of the stone and just go for a castle, man. He's got 4 manas over here, and he's spending so many resources and villager working time. Yeah, and now the scouts are coming out for MbL, so let's see if he's gonna be able to get all the monks. At the very least, a few will go down, but it seems like the monk army is going to survive in the end. Yeah, that was 1 for 1, not too terrible. But yeah, you gotta wonder, right? Instead, spend so much trying to sustain those up there. Maybe going for a castle around this area, right? Would have been enough for him to clean out the guard towers, to take down the TC, and stripe the villagers from shelter. Looks like desperation now, sadly. Yeah, for whom? Because that's a lot of towers coming up. But I'm assuming you're talking about Nili, right? He is hard committed to this push. And to be fair, he is getting some damage done though. Don't get me wrong, he is taking some of the towers down over here. We have more scouts coming out. Let's see if Nili's gonna be able to get the conversions. One of the mountains goes down. Ah, this is so involved for Nili though. This is so committed. And he's so close once again to get a castle up. He even has a small hill over here that he could potentially take advantage of. That would clear this up significantly faster as well. Like cavalry on the way for MbL now. That's gonna be much better against the monks. Only 2 doings to take these down. Ah, okay, so we have Sanctity, never mind. But yeah. Extra guard towers coming up over here. MbL, and I just really have to give credit where credit's due. He's been able to get so much with so little in the 2 games we have cast so far. We saw in game number 1 the 3 Mangonels of death, right, for MbL. Fantastic unit control. There we go. The castle's finally coming up. And now we are seeing the 10 villager tower rush. It's worked out pretty well, but now the castle is the move that we needed to see. This is finally happening. Yes, sir. It needs to pay off as well. He needs once again to get all the villagers down over here. Alright, so he's got 14 villagers plus 3, so that's gonna be 17 villagers available. And up in the north, we can see that Nili's economy is in shambles. Longboats are already distributed along the shorelines. Doesn't seem to be paying too much attention over here though. But yeah, now that the castle is up, he needs to take this down. And MbL is gonna go for another TC on the right hand side and extra towers before this. So this castle is going to take care of this, but it's not going to have enough range for this. And Nili is going up to the Imperial Age. That means that he does not need to go for a second castle to take this down. And the moment he's able to get some Trevs out, he should be able to continue pushing MbL back. And it's not too bad. if you take a look at the resources collection aggregation over here for both players, it's about 1600 extra resources for MbL, but he does have a much stronger worker count compared to Nili, and this is only possible because of Nili's pressure. If it weren't because of MbL's villagers going for tower after tower and the TC and just trying to survive at the center, MbL's economy would be like so much farther ahead. So Nili has been able to force a reaction already, but this needs to continue. There we are. See some conversions coming in. Won't be able to get those. We have Chinese crossbows, love to see it, to protect the monks against scouts, like cavalry as well. And it's only 40 seconds for Nili to get to the Imperial Age. Does he have anything to work with? And he's got enough to go for 2 well, 1.5 trebuchet. He needs more wood. Does have an extra TC coming out, so that's fine. He can start catching up in work account, that'd be ideal, of course. And MbL does not have anywhere near enough resources to click up to the Imperial Age. Oh, but there's a landing though! There's a landing! We have 5 like cavalry roaming around, and Nili's reaction was good. He noticed. This could have been disaster. This could have been pretty much the end of the game if he didn't realize the same way he didn't realize about the lumberjacks and the longboats. But now we have a siege workshop over here. Well, Nili doesn't really have any stone to go for a castle over here or anything. So MbL is just trying to make this game messy, and we know that he's going to thrive over there. Compared to Nili anyway, you can really see it in the other TC time. It's a little harder for the Hippo to keep up in these situations. Yet another TC on the way for MbL. Oh boy, things are starting to get out of hand. Things are starting to get out of hand. He's gonna try to come back on water. He does have the first trebuchet already coming out. There we go. Yeah, and this trebuchet alone is gonna take forever to take down the towers and even take the TC down. Let's not even talk about these TCs. Oh, and check MbL though. This is my island now. And he isn't even playing Britons. Wow. Well, MbL the Conqueror. Yeah, on the left hand side he's able to get the TC up. It's looking pretty over, yes. Imperial Age unfortunately hasn't really given nearly too much. He did add a second trebuchet, which is gonna deploy now. MbL can't win this anymore? You think? MbL is dead. Alright. I have a feeling that might end up aging poorly. Yeah, 1 villager to defend against the Mangonels. This is going down. How many villagers do we have over here potentially exposed for Nili? 19 out of 59 villagers. When MbL is at 109. I don't know, man. Imperial is gonna be here for MbL very soon. To be fair, he doesn't really have a castle himself, and the Vikings do not get bombard cannons, so he cannot really take care of this yet unless he went for like siege ram, right? There we are, the TC's going down. Left hand side, the TC did go down for MbL. He still remains here with some villagers, not too many. But the thing over here is that this doesn't really represent a significant portion of MbL's economy, right? Well, this of course is a much more significant portion of Nili's economy. We have fast fire ships now for Nili, which is all good and dandy, but MbL still has 14 longboats. He just needs to bring these over. Now that he's gotten to the Imperial Age, could potentially go for elite as well. Mass migration from Nili. Yeah. The issue right now is that without a tech advantage from being the only player in the Imperial Age, and without an eco advantage, there isn't really much for Nili to work with. On paper, MbL from this point onwards, and for a while already, he's been collecting more resources by the minute. So he's gonna have a stronger economy to fuel a much stronger army. Gonna have larger, you know, numbers for MbL. He's gonna have tech parity with Nili. And a much stronger economy to fuel military production as well. So this is just buying MbL time, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't really care about losing this. What he should be focusing on right now is setting up the military production, right? And he's been doing that. We have archer ranges on the left hand side, on the right hand side. He's got a stable even. Yeah, and he's getting full control of Nili's base, and it seems like Nili probably won't realize about this though. Oh boy. Oh, the villagers going down to the Mangonel once again. And Nili realized about this. MbL kind of missed the shot over there. He could have taken down the transport ship before Nili realized. But these villagers are going down anyway, and he's able to only sail away with only about 10 villagers. Feitoria, well, we need Portuguese for that. Castle on the way for MbL. There we go. Yeah, Nili's, for the most part, holding on at the center. Ah, this could be good. If MbL doesn't realize. Fast fire ships are actually pretty good at taking buildings down. Big credit to MbL for expanding that much and making it messy with landing as well, so then we cannot focus on the main push only. Yeah. MbL is going to thrive there, right? He wants to make this one messy so that Nili's unable to keep up. I guess now that MbL caught up, or not really caught up, but he got to the worker count that he wants to get to, ultimately. We're gonna see the LTC count go up for him as well, but this is obviously not representative of how the game has gone. This is... Yeah, Nili needs army, he needs economy, really. He needs everything, and MbL's going for 2 additional castles on the right hand side, so now Nili won't even be the only player with access to trebuchets. I don't see a world where Nili wins this one. Yeah, he would probably need to go back in time, really. The score is quite telling as well. I imagine Nili is aware of how far behind he is, but he wants to keep on trying because he's got a decent presence at the center, right? Those were some juicy mango shots, to be fair. But what does losing 10 the skirmishers actually does to MbL? Nothing. Extra TC on the way for MbL, just where he had lost the previous one as well. Unfortunately for Nili though, if this goes in favor of MbL, his chances of getting a game in the series are pretty slim. Game number 3 will invariably take place on Land Madness. And I think most of us can agree, if not all of us can agree, that that's a map type that's going to favor MbL for sure. Game number 1 was Hideout, same we had yesterday. Yep, and the mountains are going down. That's what, like 50% of Nili's effective army He's got one monk, one scout, two Genoese crossbows, another castle's on the way, yes. But he's just kind of built, yeah, he calls it GG, it's over, he knows it. He tried to build a small fortress around his area at the center of the map, but it's been over for a while, ever since he got pushed away from here. And that wasn't even with all the damage that MbL was able to do, right? If he had paid attention over here a little bit more, MbL could have gotten a few extra villagers in the transport ship too. But yeah, it was a struggle. The game did look kind of promising for Nili at times, but MbL was like never out of the picture. Nili was definitely out of the picture towards the end. So let's go and take a look at the achievements. What do we get? Better KD for MbL. Yes. I don't really know if this is too cost effective, because I don't know. I don't remember exactly what the units MbL was fighting with were, especially because he had so many towers. I don't know what percentage of the kills were for the tower, but it doesn't really matter too much because of this. 19,000 extra resources for MbL means that he had so many more resources to work with that even if he had a less than 1-to-1 KD ratio, it would probably still have been less taxing on his economy compared to Nili's, right? So let's just go back and wait for game number 3, MbL 2, Nili 0. Let's pay the predictions. You probably don't want me to, right? Let's also update this. By the way, I have a quick question for everyone. Do you hear the music twice or just once? Please let me know. So we already saw Vikings. We saw Britons, right? Yes. Italians, Malay. For land madness, we have Berbers, we have Mongols. Obviously, it's not going to be Turks for Nili. MbL, it's gotta be Teutons. I don't know what plan he had for gods, but I imagine it's gotta be Teutons. Is there music? Oh, okay. That answers the question as well. Thank you. I imagine game number 3 is probably here. Let me take a look. Thank you, thank you. Yes, game number 3 is here already. We have about 5 seconds left to wait. But I can tell you right away though, it's gonna be Byzantines versus Mongols. Wow. Byzantines versus Mongols. Interesting. I was really expecting MbL to go for Teutons over here. Okay. I have it very low, can only hear you. Yeah, that's fine. I was just asking because I have like a music source and then I have desktop audio. And if I have both on, I don't know if it can sound duplicate. I think probably not. All right, guys, let's go for it. And we are in game number 3, the last one in the series, Play of 3. Third series of the league for Nili. We're gonna have MbL playing on the right hand side with the Byzantines, against Nili playing on the left hand side with Mongols. On what map? Well, this is Land Madness. So let's check. Let's check what we have. On the right hand side, starting with Mr. MbL, we're gonna see that he's got one goal on the left hand side in front of the TC. He's got another goal up in the north and another goal towards the right hand side over here in the east. As for stone, those are going to be kind of forward and exposed as well. We have one towards the northwest, we have one towards the southwest, but all of these are exposed, right? Like this. You can see that they make kind of a periphery around the TC for him. Doesn't really have anything safe here for the time being. And then for wood, he does have the wood on the back. And because these are fairly small, it could technically be possible for him to actually end up going for some walls that surround the woodlands, but that's not really something that we see very frequently in pro play. We have seen it in the past for sure, but not something you are expecting to see, right? But Nili's map generation is actually very interesting. Predictions? Yeah, no problem. Who wins game number 3? MbL is option 1, Nili is option 2. There you go. But anyway, it should be working now. Let me know. But yeah. Wait, what happened to the chat? Hold on. I don't know where the chat's gone. Sorry about that. There you go. So yeah, anyway, the map generation for Nili is, I would say, a little bit better. He does have one goal on the back already, which is good. Then he does have one stone over here, which is kind of backish. That's fantastic as well. And then the rest of the resources, they are not super forward. This one, for instance, this goal towards the south of the TC is really close to it. The stone up in the north is really close to it as well. And it seems to be a little bit more balanced. The interesting thing over here is that because Nili is really close to the corner of the map, it wouldn't be unreasonable for him to end up going for something like this, right? Some walls from here to the stone to the house, and then probably something like this. And this would actually allow him to secure both these wood lines. It's not necessary, of course, by any stretch of the imagination. After he chops a little bit of wood over here, or actually even before he does that, he can already go for some local walls around any lumberjacks, right? But this is not going to be quite as safe, especially as he's unable to protect like the gold over here, the stone. But yeah, once again, that's not super common to see, so I wouldn't expect it. Regardless, we are getting close to the FLH already, so we're getting close to the action. We're gonna need to make a command for the tool though. This is called PP Inc. You can find it. It's only available on GitHub. I voted for Nili because I'm not a traitor. There you go. You see, poor but with integrity. Love to see it. That was my life for the past 5 years. Making the choices that I love, right? At the expense of money. Alright, MbL's going to the second wood line already, and it is going to be aware of this. So, what is the thing about Mongols here? That is true. This is probably not the best map to have Mongols on, but he does still manage to get a substantial head start to the village. You can see over here that he did take, I assume this is ostrich? No, that was ibex, right? So he took some of the ibex already, gives him a foot boost, allows him to go up to the village faster, and then if he goes for a stable, which we are expecting to see, there we go. He's gonna be the first one to get some scouts out, and by quite a margin as well. It's gonna be a very nice head start to it. But MbL on the other hand, yeah, MbL is not collecting any gold. He doesn't really have any gold readily available, so it's gonna have to be scouts for him as well. No archers, nothing of that. So we'll see. There we go. Scouts already on the way. So far, it's been better for Nili compared to the previous games, although he's starting to rack up some idle TC time again. It's not too out of hand though. Definitely under control. If he's able to get one villager already, that's probably worth it. Stables indeed on the way for MbL as well. Remember, Byzantines do not get bloodlines, so he's gonna need to go for a few spearmen. He does already have one. He's got another one queued up. That's the thing about the Byzantines, because this is so cheap. The trash is so cheap for them. It's not. It shouldn't really make too much of a difference in his finances. Let's call it civilization's economy. Yeah, and it's not really going for any extra scouts though. Just a two. MbL is kind of exposed here. Not really. He's got the spearman already at hand. This might actually be... Oh! Thank you for the subscription. I'm not really sure why the alert's not making any sounds. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Nili is going to appreciate it. Welcome. Welcome back. All three scouts together already for Nili. cannot really do much so long as MbL's got the spearman over there. Oh, MbL's getting housed though. Uh-oh. Spearman on the way now for Nili as well. Man, we need skirmishers, archers, something for Nili to try and mitigate the spearmen, other than spearmen themselves. Like, spears against spears is really underwhelming. It's not the right unit to take care of those. Yeah, MbL's not going for much of anything other than the scouts and spearman himself though, so it's not going to be too bad for Nili, but yeah, ideally he wants to add an archer range when he can. Well, I don't know, man. MbL's on a really good job regardless. Only 7 seconds of idle TC time. It's fine. Nili has been struggling with that idle TC time lately. Okay, so this is a good question for you because you've been keeping track of Nili's gameplay better. Is this something that has been a struggle as of late, or he's been struggling as of late in the sense that it's actually something that he always struggles and always has as of late included in it? I'm actually very curious because from the series that I remember casting from Nili before, like on my own channel, I don't remember it being this prevalent, but I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it was just a few specific games. It's been his signature in Hidden Cup? Oh, I see. Okay, okay. Good pressure from MbL. The first one threatening. Villager picks. He's gotta be careful, he is. And notice the spear moving over to the right so that he can cover more ground. But now it's MbL the one putting pressure. Interestingly enough though, Nili is ahead in worker count just by 1 villager, despite having significantly more idle TC time. Oh, and the villager is going down. She is. Yes, she is. So this equalizes the worker count. Yeah, and MbL is going to win. Not losing one of the scouts over there. And in the end, we have a 1-to-1 KD ratio, but MbL being the only player to have taken a worker count. It's not just going to be about that one worker, but because of the disruption on the foragers over here, I imagine the worker efficiency has been better for MbL as well, right? Yeah. At least kind of starting to fall behind a little bit. Wheelbarrow for MbL as well. Very good point. He does have Horse Scholar, which helps a little bit, but it's not quite as good. Oh, defensive tower for Nili. We have another sub, by the way. A prime sub as well. Welcome, welcome. 32 months. Damn, boy. Over a year and a half already. 2 years and a half, I mean. And MbL's just going for the full trash that Byzantines are known for as well. He's got some more production, but not too heavily, right? He still wants to save the resource to go up to the castle age. And Nili's getting very close, actually. He's got enough gold already, just kind of missing a little bit of food. Both guys will go up at about the same time, and what is the plan from there? Mongols kind of start falling off a little bit after the early game. Once you have taken advantage of the faster working hunters, they kind of fall off a little bit, and it's only until the very late game they pick up, and it's a very, very tricky position to get the Mongols to, if you're under pressure, because you want to get a very strong economy, you want to get your, you know, your Mangonel God, you want to get your 2,345 and a half upgrades that they need to be good, or to be fully upgraded rather. And it seems to be like, until that point, MbL is gonna be definitely ahead. Step Lancers? I don't know. Maybe. He doesn't really have the infrastructure for it, so he's not thinking of that. Okay, maybe he is. He will have a second stable now. Yeah, I guess so. If he had a head start to the Castle Age, Step Lancers are going to take care of the Field Age units just fine, but I don't know that they're going to be enough against pikemen, right? And the prospect for monks as well that the MbL could very well add once he gets to the Castle Age. Scale bar the armor is coming up for MbL. Interestingly enough, Nili did end up going for bloodlines, but because of the abundance of spearmen, he wasn't really able to take advantage of it. Overall, I can say MbL has done a really good job reading Nili's strategy this game and kind of mitigating it. Step Lancers are coming up. Yeah. Yeah, it's gotta be it. Cavalry archers are not going to be immediately viable. Knights won't work against pikes, right? Against monks, potentially Step Lance is probably the best choice. Just try to get your double lines over there and strike. The problem that I see with Step Lancers though is that they can be kind of micro-intensive if you want to take good advantage of the unit and the range, right? You want to get them in double lines. You want to approach, you want to strike, you want to retreat, approach, strike. You don't want to just engage one-on-one because then they are like worse than knights. But I don't know if Nili is... Yeah, it's gonna be favored by a micro-intensive playstyle. I guess it's probably just a matter of not really having too many choices. It just seems like the lesser evil, right? Everything else is going to be worse. Or even worse, in any case. Counter attack with a Step Lancer? He's going. I guess this could be good. The potential for damage on your economy is significantly higher when raided by Step Lancers than when raided with skirmishers and pikemen, so that's another good option. Yeah, you can take care of the range over here, come in and just start sniping some villagers. Should be able to get a lot more damage done faster than MbL is going to be able to respond to. Oh, and it's open, he's coming up, and MbL reacts immediately. But this is what I was talking about, right? Bam! One shot deleted. And you need to do that, rinse and repeat 14 more times. MbL's 2 workers ahead still. And Nili's still higher in idle TC time, so he needs to take advantage of it, and he's gonna do it, and this is what I'm talking about. He attacks and pow! Villager down, and another one. 3 villagers down so far to the Step Lancers. But notice also how MbL was kind of trying to bait the units into a constrained area so he could bring the camels. Yeah, Nili's going for more Step Lancers as well. Like, he's kind of committed to it. It's good. It's good. It's gonna try roaming around. MbL's got extra TCs. I wonder now though if it would be a good idea for Nili to add some more to this push. Maybe some siege. Perhaps some monks. Monks actually could be good. He can get rid of the camels, or at the very least convert a few camels over. He's not gonna be relying on microing his army 100% of the time. Yeah, because the Step Lancers are not going to be enough against 3 TCs, right? Left hand side. Nili has finally found his village at peace. He's got just the 1 TC, so he needs to make this work. While it was exciting to see a few villager picks over here, you gotta realize as well that Nili is still behind in both military and villager count. Usually if you're not gonna go for economy, you want to at the very least have the largest army, so you have a pretty good chance of punishing your opponent, but now MbL is looking good. To be fair, a lot of this is just Fuel Age skirmishers though. Steps should dominate, stacked in a small corner. That's what I was thinking when I saw MbL try to come in here and ambush the Step Lancers from behind. I don't know if that would actually have worked, because the Step Lancers would have just stacked and they all would have attacked at once, and the camels would only attack one at a time. Alright, this is not ideal though, this is not ideal. But the unit control is there. Let's take a look at the HP pool over here. It seems like it's going in favor of Nili, but looks of thing. Yeah. And it seems like MbL's army is about to get cleaned up over here. It did come at a cost, mind you. A lot of the Step Lancers went down. And MbL should be able to replenish many of those units pretty cheaply for the most part. Like, we had Spearmen over there. Yeah, I mean, this is tricky to say the least. Nili's unit control over here has been good, but it's also kind of taxing. He's been falling behind in economy. But to be fair, I think that was probably the best play though. You call it Counter-Strike with the Step Lancers? Yeah, that's what we saw, and that was probably his best chance, but now MbL is just getting so far ahead again. There we are. Cavalry Archer, yeah. That's gotta be a misclick. Overall, beautiful performance from MbL. It's incredible, man. It's incredible. Every time it boggles my mind how you have the top 0.01% of the player base in the world, yet the top 25, the top 15 guys, the top 10 guys, they are just worlds apart compared to the rest of the top 50, the top 100. What is it right now? Top 50? Top 100? He's close to it, right? I think he has been top 50 several times. Conversion should connect. Ah, nice sniper here from MbL as well, the skirmishers. The 50 is reasonable considering he is in the gold league. Fair point. Yeah, it's just incredible. The moment Nili loses the rest of the Step Lancers, it's pretty much game over. Mainly because now that he's gotten up to 3 TCs, or he's about to get up to 3 TCs, he is still behind by about 33 workers, and he's only going to be able to play catch up as MbL if he keeps all 3 TCs working. Oh, he's even at the 4 TC right now. If he keeps all 4 TCs working, well, Nili's never really going to catch up. He's going to continue playing catch up against the moving post. So Step Lancers go down, and Nili has no military left. An economy that is significantly weaker, right, than MbL's. So he's got to take care of these really well, and he does need monks. He needs monks to try and turn this around, because it's gonna be a similar situation to economy for military as well, where MbL's potential for military production is higher than Nili's. So he needs the conversions. He needs to take value away from MbL and add it to his own ranks. It's gonna be tricky, of course, so long as MbL's paying attention. He's gonna try not to let that happen. Guys, I'm assuming the next series is gonna take place next week, probably. I don't know if it's gonna be next week and then the next one the week after that, or if he's gonna try to schedule both series for next week. But we have 2 sets left after this one: Nili versus Kashva and Nili versus Repart, if I'm not misremembering here. is any of those series one that you are particularly looking forward to? What will your predictions be for those ones? Yeah, man, the Lancers are just not... They're just not performing as well anymore. They need numbers and they need to be stacked up. They need to be microed properly. To be fair, he's been microed them properly, but eventually the numbers do run down. We should see the GG after he sees the Imperial from Nili, right? I think so, yeah. Nili doesn't really have the ability to go out to the Imperial Age anytime soon. And he knows this is just going to get worse. We're gonna get like heavy camels. There we go. Imperial Age is here for MbL. Score is significantly one-sided and Nili is going to end up calling the GG. I lose all interest in Gold League when Nili is done, really hoping he gets into the playoffs. Well, you know, the two sets that I'm referring to, of course, those are Nili's. I don't know when he's going to schedule those, but I think I'm probably looking for the most to Nili versus Ripard because of... I think it was Ripard who knocked him out of the Masters of Arena qualifiers, right? So it's gonna be a juicy one. Casper 2-1 versus Nili, Nili 2-1 versus Ripard. I think with a score like that, Nili is able to stay in the Gold League. That's your prediction? I think he's got a chance versus Ripard. I think so too, yeah. Alright, so for military we have a better KV for Nili in the end. It's gonna be a little bit higher than 4-3. Unfortunately though, it doesn't really make much of a difference because of the economy being so one-sided for MbL, as much so as collecting almost 50% extra resources compared to Nili. Society sees a much higher villager max count for MbL as well. Having lost the fewest villagers, I think. No, actually Nili ended up losing 3 and 4 over here for MbL. But yeah, the Norwegian player looked quite comfortable in the series, unfortunately for Nili, and everybody's supporting him, of course, but he still has 2 series, so